Parade wasn't that bad. This is why it was third on my most hyped anime list of the winter. See, it delivered us something called quality Tokyo Ghoul. The only problem that I could possibly see with this series happening is that if it does the game where it's one person and another person each episode is always 1v1s, it will eventually get repetitive. But after looking at the ending to the last episode, thanks to somebody in the Chiba community, it actually seems like next episode, the people that actually run the bar are going to be getting development themselves, and that's what I was kind of assuming, because Dekim doesn't really seem like he really wants to referee these games. If you watch the Death Billards OVA, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about, and if you saw it this episode, seemed to be shocked when the wife had made that little type of plot twist, we can say, when it turns out that it actually wasn't her or his baby, it wasn't the husband's baby. His face was in complete shock, as if he had never seen anything like this or expected that before, meaning that he still, in a sense, kind of has his humanity intact. So they're clearly trying to develop the people in the bar, including him, and I think that he's going to make for quite an interesting main character. I also want to say that I did like the character designs this episode. Not really the wife and the husband, but more so Dekum and then the other people that ran the bar. Speaking of the other people that ran the bar, the opening is odd, because I do like it, but I don't think it fits the tone of this show at all. It's quirky, and I do like the quirkiness, but I just don't think with a show that talks about affairs, murder, it gets it's really, really dark and gruesome at times. After watching the OVA, I watched the OVA like a month or two ago, yeah. But yeah, I know how dark and gruesome this series can get, and so I don't know if that opening really fits. But you don't really grade the anime upon the opening. I just honestly think that the opening is it's a contrast, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I think something else would have been more fitting. In terms of sticking to the genre, it was really psychological, and it really did do that well, and that was really what I was really expecting from this entire series, just for it to fulfill the psychological approach. Which is funny, because now Madhouse is doing 2 psychological shows at one time, but I only consider one to be truly psychological, and that's Death Parade. Parasite, to me, feels more like an action, somewhat psychological show. It's not really heavily based on the psychological factor. But Death Parade will fulfill that for me. I think now the question is how much of a character will Dekum and the other people in the bar develop, not necessarily the people that are doing the game. I also think that the author truthfully meant for this ending to be left up to interpretation, because when I watched Death Billards, it was a matter of, like, they didn't really explain who goes to heaven and who goes to hell. They just put the winner and the person that would seemingly go to heaven, and then the other one in the place that would seemingly go to hell. But what if that's really reversed? What if that is all fake? What if this is all a lie? You see where I'm going at? A lot of this is left up to interpretation, and what I'm thinking is that eventually I think this is going to have to be explained. You can't always leave this up to interpretation. In some cases, there has to be a definitive ending, and I think that just to quiet people down and not to piss a lot of people off, you'll probably want to explain exactly who goes to heaven and who goes to